Welcome back. In our last explainer, we took a grand tour of the Excel interface to see where everything lives. Today, we're taking the next big step. We're going to take you from staring at blank worksheets to creating highly readable, totally professional documents. So let's jump right in.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with what data entry actually is. Then we'll enter your first data. After that, we'll tackle basic cell formatting, move on to formatting different types of numbers, and wrap it all up with a quick practice and summary.
All right, section 1. What exactly is data entry? The core concept here is incredibly simple. Data entry literally just means typing information into Excel cells. Remember how we talked about the spreadsheet being this massive grid? Well, every single piece of information you work with lives securely inside one of those individual cells. It's exactly where the software stores and categorizes your inputs.
So what kind of information are we actually talking about? You might be inputting text, like employee names or their specific departments. You might be dropping in math stuff, like numbers or salary information. Or maybe you're tracking timelines using dates. Every single day, professionals use Excel to organize these exact types of real-world data points. It really is the bread and butter of the software.
Moving right along to section 2, entering your first data. This right here is the fundamental rhythm of Excel. It's just a simple 3-step dance. Step 1, you click any cell to select it. Step 2, use your keyboard to type the information. And step 3, you press the Enter key. That's really it. Pressing Enter locks that data right into the cell and usually bumps your selection down one row, so you're instantly ready to type the next piece of info.
And this is exactly what that process looks like when it comes together. If you repeat those 3 steps, you start building a real structure. Notice how organized this is? We've got clear columns for name, department, and salary, and rows filled with raw data for employees like ROM and finance and CETA and HR. This is exactly what raw entered data looks like when you get it into the grid.
But hey, let's be realistic for a second. We all make typos. Reassuringly, Excel makes fixing those mistakes incredibly easy. If you need to edit existing data, you've got 3 simple options. You can rapidly double-click directly on the cell to edit the text inside it. Or, if you prefer shortcuts, just click the cell once and press the F2 key on your keyboard. Your third option is to click the cell and edit the text up at the very top of your workspace in the formula bar. Just choose whichever method feels the most comfortable for you.
Okay, let's get into section 3, basic cell formatting. This is where the magic happens. Tweaking your fonts builds visual hierarchy and instantly organizes your document. Think about a title, like Employee Report. If you make that text bold and bump up the font size, your reader instantly knows, that's the main heading. You can also use italics for a bit of emphasis, or underline text to really draw the eye. It's all about guiding your reader's attention exactly where you want it.
And beyond just the shape and size of the text, we have the incredible power of color. Colors in Excel aren't just there to make things look pretty, right? They communicate instant context. You might use a crisp blue background to distinguish your column headings, or maybe some green text to immediately signify a positive financial value. Or, crucially, you can use red text to create an unmistakable drop everything alert for your reader.
Now, to really lock in that structured, professional look, you need borders. Without them, your data can kind of feel like it's just floating in space. Here's exactly how you do it. First, use your mouse to select the cells you want to frame. Next, look up at the ribbon and make sure you're on the Home tab. Find the Borders icon, give it a click, and choose your preferred style. A simple black grid border completely transforms a block of floating text into a rigid, highly professional table. It's a total game changer.
That brings us to section 4, formatting different numbers.
So take a look at the raw number, 45,000. It's just a string of digits, kind of hard to read quickly. But if we tell Excel that this is currency, it transforms it into a clean format, complete with a currency symbol like RS or a $sign and a super helpful comma separator. Suddenly, 45,000 is so much easier to read at a quick glance. The exact same logic applies to proportions. Staring at raw decimals like 0.10 can be a bit confusing if you're trying to rapidly grasp a metric. But by applying the percentage format, that 0.10 cleanly and instantly transforms into a highly readable 10%. Much better, right?
Timelines are definitely notorious for causing confusion. Depending on what country you're in, formatting raw numbers with slashes can mean totally different things. By applying a standardized date format, a confusing string like 2026/05/29 instantly converts into an unambiguous timeline, 29 May 2026. Boom! Confusion completely eliminated.
Finally, let's talk about precision. Sometimes raw calculations spit out these incredibly long, messy strings of numbers, like 1250.567. By utilizing decimal formatting, you can neatly round those messy numbers off. Notice how we trimmed it down to just 2 decimal places, 1250.57? This is an absolutely essential skill when you're preparing clean financial reports.
So, how do we actually execute these number transformations? Honestly, it's just as easy as adding borders. First, select the cells that contain your raw numbers. Then, navigate right up to the Home tab. Look for the specific section called the Number Group. From there, you just choose your format from the drop-down menu. Currency, percentage, date, whatever you need. Excel literally does all the heavy lifting for you in a fraction of a second.
All right, section 5, quick practice and summary. Let's bring it all together.
I want you to shift from passive listening to active mental participation for just a second. Are you ready for a quick practice challenge? Let's prove to yourself just how much you've actually absorbed today.
Just imagine sitting at your keyboard right now. Your goal is to create a small table. You click a cell and type the headings, name, salary, and joining date, making sure to press Enter after each one. Then you select those top cells, head up to the Home tab, and make those headings bold. You select the whole block of data and add some neat borders to lock it in. Finally, you select the salary numbers and apply the currency format, and you select your timelines and apply the date format. And just like that, in your mind, you've taken a blank grid and built a fully formatted, highly professional table entirely from scratch. You've got this.
Let's celebrate your progress by checking off everything we conquered in today's explainer. You learned how to click, type, and enter data into cells. You learned 3 completely different ways to edit that data if a typo slips through. We covered font formatting to create visual hierarchy and the strategic use of colors and borders to keep your sheet beautifully organized. And finally, we transformed raw digits into crystal clear currencies, percentages, and dates using number formatting. In our next explainer together, we're going to expand our view even further and learn all about managing entire worksheets within your workbook.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought. A blank spreadsheet is no longer just a confusing grid of empty boxes. For you, it's a blank canvas. Now that you hold the power to transform raw, messy numbers into a brilliantly clear, professional document, what story is your data going to tell? Keep practicing, keep experimenting with those different formats, and I will see you in the next explainer.